they know that that ego died. The one who was glamorized and felt like all this money was, you know, that ego doesn't exist. That ego doesn't need to be stroked anymore. So now who are they dealing with? Somebody else of who they cannot relate to. You don't drink no more? You don't get out like that no more? No. Who are you? So these egos have to die. And if we want a radical shift in our reality, we're going to have to kill our goddamn selves. The more change we want, the faster we must die. Let me give you an example. Malcolm X said the price of freedom is death. What do you mean by that? We think because of Malcolm's execution, that obscured the essence of what he was saying, because he was assassinated. That did not take the depth of what he said. The price of freedom is death. If you want to be free, there will be death to the comfort with your slave master. The relationship you have with your slave master is going to have to die. It will no longer exist. The part of you that must interface with your slave master's world is going to have to die. If it don't die, you cannot be free. The price of freedom is death. A part of us have to die. Many of us, we say we want something. The difference between wanting something and achieving it is who has not died. Y'all don't hear me. Wanting something different means you have to sacrifice something you have. If I have this Kemetic statue here, and I want to put something else here, this statue is going to have to what? Move, right? Or there's no space for what I want to put here to exist. So if I really want to put something else here, my first thing should be what? To move what is there. Not attach myself to it. I want something else. You hear me? That's how we act. I want a man that really appreciates me. You gotta move what? The one that's there out the goddamn way. Am I correct? I want a woman that appreciates. I'm tired of dealing with prostitutes. No, you're not. Do you hear what I'm saying? So in order for you, if you got your highest, most powerful goal that you have, will require you to sacrifice the self in you, the ghost, the succubus or incubus. You follow? To sacrifice the demon inside of you that is living off your whole reality. I'm going into voodoo now. Who you thought you was a spirit that embodied you for a temporary period of time. That's not you. You God. But who you thought you were is a spirit, and now that spirit coexisted with you. I'm going heavy now. Follow me now. I hope I'm not losing nobody. The spirit coexisted with you. You thought you was the spirit because everything you wanted to do at that time, the spirit wanted to do. You thought you ate sugar, but stop eating sugar. The spirit gonna still want it. That's the spirit in you. In psychology, they call it habits. Obsession. Obsessive compulsive disorder. Something takes over you to make you do the things that you do. You claim you want to do something else, but you keep doing the same thing that you've been doing. They call it obsessive compulsive disorder. You're trying to get something different, but you're doing the same damn thing. In the ancient time, they call it a demonic possession, where you needed a damn exorcist. And the exorcism was something radical to symbolize the transformation and the rebirth and the liberation of your true self from the demonic possession. Where they would cut a chicken's head off. It ain't that they hated the chickens. They had to do something radical, you feel me, to symbolize a transition from one vibration in one spiritual state to another. What was more radical than cutting a chicken's head off and spreading blood all over the room? That would shock you to such a degree that would be enough of a radical expression to shift you from one state of being to another. This is reality. It's going to take something radical to transform us to what we desire. Our old self is stopping us from our new desires. No one to blame, no victims. Our old self is stopping us from our new desires. Everybody repeat that after me. My old self, is stopping me from my new desires.
From my new desires.
It's a reality. And if you want your new desires to manifest, you got to get rid of your old self. Repeat that after me. If you want your new desires to manifest,
if you want your new desires to manifest,
you got to get rid of your old self.
You got to get rid of your old self.
Your old self, it loved the abusive relationship with the white man or of any type. It loved the unhealthy, unfit way of life that you had. It fed off of that. The crack, the cocaine, the negative thoughts, the depression. Your old self loved that. That demon loved that. You want something different. We're all here because we wanted something different. Our old self was an individualist that didn't care about nobody else, was trying to get it. Our new self wanted a divine community. Our old self was only concerned with afterlife, heaven before we die, and being at the right hand of a white Jesus. Our new self wants heaven while we live. Do you understand what I'm saying? So we're all here because we have new desires to experience something. Will our old self stop us? Or will we kill our goddamn self?
Kill you.
Every time your old self starts getting away by projecting fear and limitations of what you can achieve and making you worry about things that are irrelevant to what you have the power to produce, you must kill that self. You have to know that nothing can stop you, and if you don't have a mind that will tell you that nothing can stop you, then you have already failed. Because it's going to tell you the other anyway. If it's not saying something can stop you, if it's not saying nothing can stop you, it's probably going to say something that's going to stop you. There's no in between. There's no real confusion in the universe. The universe is absolute. With everything that it does, it's either this, it's either raining, or it's not. But our mind think it can be in the middle. There's no middle in the universe. There's no middle ground in the universe. Everything is absolute. If you want absolute change, you're going to have to do something absolute different. If the world you want to create, you want to create a new world, but your behavior is looking the same way it's been looking, and you're still moving towards the inclination to do the same things that represent your old world, how you going to have a new one? You say you want to wear some different shoes, you go put the same shoes on you had yesterday? It's not rational. It's not going to work. So we have to check our minds. We have to check ourselves. The unexamined life is not worth living. We must examine ourselves to make sure that we are making the radical changes to get to what we want. But in order to do that, you got to go beyond fear. Because fear kicks in and tells you that you're losing something. Change represents loss to someone who is in fear. Change represents loss to someone who is not ready to be reborn into their true desires. Change represents loss. But those who are aware know that change is caused by what their real desires are. Y'all hear me? Change is caused by what your real desires are. That's what makes change happen in the universe, whether you are aware of it or not. That's a fact. You don't want to go to the white man's school no more. You want to do something else. You're not aware, you follow, of your real desire to do something else, but every action shows it. You're not paying a goddamn attention to what the white man is saying. Then you get kicked out of the school. Who caused the change? Did they kick you out of school? Or did your desires create a change in your experience? most of us live a step behind ourselves. We tired of living under the white man. So we stop paying our rent. But then we say we got evicted. We live a step behind ourselves, not realizing we did not want to pay the white man to begin with. So we stop paying our rent, and the change of circumstance represents